number of people, and then this will be short, I assure you. This won't take forever. And then talk a little bit about what has brought us here tonight in terms of the technological development. We have developed a technology, a drug delivery technology in our university, which we call Schoellkopf. And it's got some very powerful applications, and then I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about that in just a few minutes. First of all, of course, I want to thank the Schoellkopf Committee for this incredible honor. Having grown up in Western New York and having spent virtually all of my career in Western New York, this award is well known to me, and its significance to the scientific and entrepreneurial business community humbles me with this honor. I would especially like to thank Dr. Sanchez for his constant efforts for this nomination. I'm well aware of those. The work that's brought us here tonight that I would like to talk about is this technology called a plastosome. It was originally my intention, it was not my intention originally to talk about the technology, to go into those nitty-gritty little details, but of course Dr. Sanchez insisted that we have a few slides, so here we go. So they're very colorful, they won't take too long. My objective is to really just sort of talk to you guys for a few minutes about how the ideas got started and what are some of the far-reaching implications of the technology that we've developed. I have hit something. Oh, I should push something. That one? Okay, I can do that. Okay. So I'm a computational chemist by training. So when I first started to think about this idea, I had been at a meeting. I can't even remember what the meeting was, but someone was talking about the challenges of a particular targeted deliveries that they were trying to do. And having spent a considerable amount of time, a number of years at the Houghton Woodward Institute, working on lipids and lipid structures, I said, why don't we try some different materials that we wanted to use? And so that's in fact what we did. I started to think about this. Okay, I understand these structures, I've developed these structures, I studied these structures, that's what we had done at the Institute with Doug Dorset. And I said, let's start to make a model of these things. Let's sort of put these things together and see if we can in fact make them into a vesicle-like structure, which I thought was very cool. I mean, nobody had ever done it before. I didn't tell them I was wrong, but that's okay. So I decided to model build these sorts of things, and what I realized is that I could pack the esters together, I could pack these lipids together so effectively that they actually had some very, very interesting properties. What ended up happening, of course, is that I ended up doing these pretty maps, because that's what computational chemists do. And what we started to realize is that the surface of both the inside and the outside were actually similar. Okay, and so what we also started to realize is that the surface that we were going to create with these particular esters actually were going to be protective of the vesicle itself. We started to think about the vesicle as a cocoon that could basically protect whatever it is that we wanted to put inside. And we do, we called it plastosome cocoon. And what we realized, of course, is that we could encapsulate, put into this cocoon virtually any kind of molecule that we wanted to. Small molecules, plasmids, proteins, peptides. It's the cocoon that protects it. And so once we got that inside there, the delivery of the vesicle itself was what was determining whether or not we had success in getting to our target. What we could see is we started to look at very, very simple ideas, very simple mole ratios, 1 to 1 mole ratios of cholesterol esters. And as I said, I did a lot of the structural work on cholesterol esters and oxidized cholesterols when I was at the Houghton Institute. And so we said, okay, this is sort of interesting. The surfaces are neutral. I had a student that made a mistake, and we realized that these structures could survive pHs of 2 to 13. They survived biosalt, they did not degrade in biosalt, so we had this really kind of interesting thing. What could we do with it? That was sort of our next question, what could we possibly do with it? So we said, okay, we're going to try and deliver these things into cells. Every cell that we have tried to use in terms of delivery, we have been successful in delivering. Whether it's neural cells or, retinal cells or aortic cells or cancer cells, whatever we try to deliver, once we put something in that plastosome, we can effectively deliver it to any cell type that we have been looking at. can see also, we tried it. We had a very nice delivery. We looked at some white blood cells, and we saw that each one of these types of cells was able to effectively load colossosomes with what we had encapsulated. We started to think, by the way, of that particular immune system is that we were able to start to stimulate the immune system with whatever we were putting inside of this. And I want to point out that we started to think about this before COVID hit. So that was one thing. One of our big interests, actually, one of the things we realized is that what we're able to do is we can encapsulate antibiotics, for example, and we can give an intracellular delivery of the antibiotic at 1/1000th of the concentration that is normally given. So you're seeing here we have like 666 micrograms per mil. We have this thing is 0.83 micrograms per mil with the colostosome, and we need only 1/1000th of that dosage in order to be effective in that delivery. Next. I have a particular interest in neural cells. One of the reasons I started to develop this technology was in fact to be able to deliver things to neural cells. And so what we decided to do is we said, okay, let's see if we can deliver genetic material into these neural cells, or into any cells, for example. So we looked at two beautiful colored plasmids, and what we're able to do is we're able to encapsulate them in those colossosomes. We're able to deliver them to the cells, and they were functional once they got inside the cell. This was not transfection, this was no light infection, this was just beautifully delivered into the cells. One of the reasons we think this is so interesting in terms of delivery of genetic material is we've been working with people in terms of muscular dystrophy and being able to deliver genetic material that's needed for those muscle cells. One of our big interests actually has always been in insulin. When we realized that the colossosomes were able to they survived a pH range of 2 to 13, we started to think about them in terms of oral delivery as well as intracellular delivery. So we said, okay, what is the thing that everybody would like to have orally delivered? So we decided to look at insulin. Insulin is a very interesting molecule to us, and we started to say, okay, let's just see what we can do with it. We encapsulated the insulin in the colossosomes. We started to deliver it to different kinds of cells, and we did a whole series of studies on this insulin in these cells. We showed that we could deliver the colossosomes. The colossosomes would pass the K2 barrier, and in fact deliver making chylomicrons, and we were able to effectively use that methodology. What else we have? Okay, this is a beautiful picture, one of our first pictures of the chylomicrons that we had taken with this insulin study. Okay, then we said, okay, why not, let's try it in animals. So we encapsulated insulin, we encapsulated human insulin in colossosomes, and we delivered that to both mice and rats. I did not personally do that, but somebody else did. And what we found is that the insulin was systemically delivered and was able to pass the blood-brain barrier inside of that vesicle. And so, we presented this work a few years ago at the ASS meeting, and it was very well received. One other thing that, just in terms of the potential of the work, in collaboration with Dr. Paresh Gandomino, who's an endocrinologist at the University of Buffalo, we talked about if we put the insulin in the colossosomes and we deliver it to cells, can we affect different kinds of markers? So we in fact did that work, and we found that we were able to modulate the markers for both Alzheimer's as well as inflammatory markers. So we see this, the intracellular delivery of insulin with colostosome, as a potential Alzheimer's therapeutic. One of the more recent work that we're doing actually is of course, as COVID hit, all of the scientists in the world, we're all trying to do something, right? So what we decided to do is we decided to encapsulate zinc as well as antibodies into the colossosomes and deliver them into cells. We took a model of COVID, and that was a particular cell model for COVID. We encapsulated these antibodies, we encapsulated the zinc into the colossosomes, and we were able to show that we had a 60% reduction in infectivity because of this particular delivery. Right now, our most recent work is we are working on some interesting studies about lead removal from neural cells. The World Health Organization and the United Nations has stated that the greatest threat to children's health worldwide is lead poisoning, including in the United States. And there is no effective therapeutic for that, so that's one of the things that we're trying to deliver. We encapsulate a chelator into the cholestysomes and deliver it to cells that have been treated with lead. We're able to remove the lead from the neural cells as a potential therapeutic then for this. All right, that's it. Okay, now all I'm going to do is thank a bunch of people and then everybody can move on. One of the things, the technology itself, we presented this in a number of different places. Many people, actually multiple people, have called this technology transformative. The American Diabetes Association, as well as other associations with respect to about diabetic research, has called cholestosome technology one of the 10 most influential developments for diabetic treatment in the last number of years. And it is a transformative technology, it is a disruptive technology. One of the things, though, I want to talk about, what I really would like to do now is thank a whole bunch of people. This invention, we have these slides, and this is 15 years worth of work that we're starting to talk about. Inventions don't happen with just one person. I'm standing here, but I'm representing a whole slew of people that have contributed to this invention. The progress of this technology is tied closely to the hard work of many individuals. My partner in crime in this venture, Dr. Larry Melnicki over here. Has been so responsible for the success as well. When I first did the initial models, I called up my dear friend Larry and I said, let's have lunch. And after a lot of wine and lunch, he agreed to come and start to work on this venture. Larry has been a great friend to me over the years, and this has been quite an adventure for us, and we have so much more to do. Your scientific talents, and I think all the students will agree to this, and insight have kept us on track and made us think carefully and question everything. And I thank you so much for everything that you have done in this work. It involves incredible hard work, lots of disappointments, and persistence. Failure is a part of discovery and development. We have failed so many things as we try to move forward, as we're forward. But from each failure, we have learned significantly. One thing I have to emphasize is Snyder University is a primarily undergraduate institution. All of the work, all the research that we're talking about has been carried out by undergraduate students. I want to thank all of these amazing students that have come through my lab. Some of whom are here tonight, some that have contributed to this work. Every single one of you has meant so very much to me. And I hope that your experience is in our crazy lab. And it is crazy. We're valuable to you, and that you know how much you are appreciated and loved. Many years ago, a boss of some sort, told me that subtlety was not my strong suit. And while I was initially insulted, I confessed this is an understatement. And when you think about it, can you imagine being an administrator at a university that has me as a faculty member? You gotta feel really bad for these poor people. When I started this venture 15 years ago, Niagara University didn't quite know what to do with me. What they did know, and they still don't, what they did know was that they wanted to foster an intellectual and academic environment that was creative and supportive. They have always listened to what I've been trying to do, and have permitted this intellectual exercise that was not in any sort of traditional academic role for an institution focused on undergraduate education. And in so doing, they have allowed for a highly creative environment where faculty and students can pursue all kinds of dreams. The leadership of Father Marr, the president of Niagara University, has been so exceptional and positive. He has been open to innovations and wonderful new ideas. And I want to thank you so very much, Father Mark, for everything that you've done. Colleague, the Executive Vice President, who Dr. Sanchez mentioned, and Dr. Tim Arlen, who's the Provost, and Dr. Patera is the Dean of Arts and Sciences, have worked tirelessly to support the students and faculty in their research. The university has worked to provide financial support through the Academic Center for Integrated Sciences, which has quite frankly allowed for the development of this work. And I'd like to thank you all so very, very much. Amazing colleagues in my department, Dr. Stoy, who I hired, Dr. Sanchez, Dr. Coltis, Dr. Mulnicky, my friend, and I want to thank you all for putting up with me. I would like to thank especially Dan Podesek. And a colleague now a friend, and he keeps all of the instruments running for us, thank God Almighty. And I must, of course, thank our Elizabeth, our administrative assistant, who probably tried 25 minutes to teach me how to fax something and just gave up. Thank you so very much. I cannot tell people, especially the students, how many times people have told me that my ideas were wrong, stupid, and not worth pursuing. I remember everybody's words, and I would just like to say to them all that I was not wrong. So many people told me that what we tried to do could never be done. It was against all the scientific principles, everything that everybody taught us, all those things that we hold so dear. So what I tried to tell the students is sometimes scientific principles need to be turned upside down. It is something new, and it takes a lot of courage to do that. That is one thing that I hope my students have taken away from their experiences in our lab. Don't be afraid, and have the courage to pursue your dreams. I firmly believe that the support of a family is the foundation of success. My parents always believed in education. This is the cornerstone of their lives. We grew up in Riverside, Buffalo, New York, and they provided everything that we needed to be successful people. My father, I'm no part myself, so we didn't know the right, it's been gone a long time now. When I was a very little girl, some little boy in third grade told me I could be a scientist, and I went to my father and I said, "Can I be a scientist?" And he said, "Yes you can." And those words to a small, to a young girl, to me, has meant so much. My mother, Mary McCourt, who was supposed to be here, she's 90, tried to get her, but couldn't. She's one of the most amazing women that you could ever begin to imagine. She has been through such incredible challenges in her life, but she's never faltered, and she's always kept on going. She taught all of us courage and to love our children completely. She taught me what true strength and courage are. My sisters over here, Teresa, Bernadette, and Ann, who are good Irish family families, who are a lot of good names. You are my friends always. The great thing about sisters is that they accept you and love you no matter what. They're all incredibly amazing women. My poor husband. It's truly been my great fortune to be married to a man that has always believed in me. I endured this torment crazy for 40 years, and they said it wouldn't last. And October, my dear husband, I love you very much, and you are my dearest friend. My most amazing and wonderful children, who are the great joys of my life, have always been the great joys of my life. Rachel and Robert, God love them. I've never understood this whole work-life balance thing, and their childhood was very entertaining, I'm sure. But in spite of all this insanity, in spite of me not understanding that, they have grown to be amazing people. My most wonderful daughter, Rachel, has 2 degrees, one in international studies and one in nursing. She was in the Peace Corps in Guatemala and has always been devoted to service. My amazing son, Robert, God only knows why, has a desire to pursue an academic career. He is already has a master's in international relations from Norwich University and is presently pursuing his PhD in history while working full time. Their work ethic is phenomenal, and they make me proud every single day. My daughter recently married. Of course, she married during the COVID pandemic, of course, thank you so much. And now I have a new son. My son-in-law, Rudy Picazinski, I could not have long name. And of course, my most amazing new adventure, here's my granddaughter, Noah, who is here. There she is. When I look at her, I see a hope. I see a future full of hopes and promise. I'm able to do my work and all the things that we've accomplished in all of our lives because of the love of my family. Without that love, my work would not be possible. There's one more person I would really like to thank. My dear younger brother, Patrick Joseph McCourt. My brother died. He's forgotten me from picture. My brother died from a brain tumor at a very young age. And his life was very, very short. He's been the greatest influence in my life. I think of him every single day. I think of his courage, I think of his love, and I think of his strength. When I get discouraged, it's him that I think about. And I remind myself I must get up every day and continue to work. But I remind myself too that whatever honors I have, whatever honors I've received, it's all dedicated to him. And when all is said and done, I hope in his eyes that he is proud of me. And I again thank you all so very much for your time.